everybody who comes after Meghan Markle fails, and everyone who hasn't failed will fail. This is inevitable because if you attack someone who has done nothing wrong, you may be able to fool some of the idiots most of the time, but you cannot fool most good people any of the time. And most good people can see right through the hate campaign that has been waged against Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan. If it wasn't transparent before the Oprah interview, it certainly is now. And I'm noticing a trend of even people who are not within the squad who realise what's going on and who are coming to Harry and Meghan's defence. And as much as the hate campaign has been effective in many ways at turning people against Meghan, I think sometimes we do give the British press too much power, and if you're paying too much attention to their vitriol, it can be very easy to forget that there are in fact many more people who love Meghan and Harry than those who have eaten up the lies. And there are certainly some people who have attempted to jump onto the hate Meghan train for their own gain, thinking people would back them and believing the narrative that the British press have falsely created that everyone hates Meghan, and it's royally blown up in their faces. Just look at Emily Griffin, this Karen who, for no good reason, came after Meghan after the video of her reading to Archie was posted. I'm sure most of you will remember the Duck Duck Rabbit video. I don't know how you could look at such a sweet moment and decide that you're going to turn that into something negative and to say that a child's mother should go away, that she should disappear. To where, Emily? Where should the mother of this child go? She couldn't take the heat and later apologized, but the damage was done. And then, of course, there was Victoria Mather. Who could forget Victoria Mather? Who called Meghan 5 clicks up from trailer trash, which, as well as being derogatory towards Meghan, I just hate the term trailer trash. I think it's classist. I think it's demeaning against a certain class of people who may live in that accommodation because they don't have access to any other forms of housing. It's just a very crass way of referring to people, and she pretty much hasn't been seen since. She tried to bring that nonsense to American TV and it didn't work, and she has never been invited onto a mainstream TV show like that again, and really hasn't been heard from since. And then of course there was the paparazzi agency Splash News, who took illegal drone pictures of Archie. They must have known that they could get in trouble for those photos, but I honestly think that they thought the thirst for those pictures would be so great that the law would not apply, and they took the risk and it flopped. Because this is a very different time we're living in. This is not the 90s showbiz gossip circus land that we once lived in. We have moved on. Yes, the thirst for such photos may have overridden laws back then, and there are many examples of celebrities having their privacy horribly violated in much worse ways, and the tabloids made so much money and got away with it, but not anymore. From what I understand, they did try to sell those photos to numerous outlets and it just didn't work. I think there was maybe one very obscure German outlet that might have posted the pictures, if I remember correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But other than that, none of the big tabloids wanted anything to do with those photos because they knew that it would get them in trouble. Now, rumor has it that Splash News were already struggling financially. Certainly, social media and stricter paparazzi laws have driven the value of paparazzi shots down, and lockdowns meant that even the paps themselves had to stay indoors, as did celebrities. And so having to pay out such a hefty fine would have been the nail in the coffin for a company that was already filing bankruptcy. Then you have the Daily Fail. Now, I haven't followed up on the details of the court case regarding Meghan's letter, Obviously she won and the Daily Fail will have to pay up, but Meghan had asked for some specifics in regard to her apology, because the apology should be as big as the disrespect. So there were certain specifics about the size of the font that she wanted and such. And we're still waiting for that. But in terms of money, they have to cut Meghan a check. And they are already losing money and readership as it is. I don't think we've seen the last of Meghan's battle with the Mail or the British press in general, because Meghan is literally their oxygen. But what they have engaged in has got to be the biggest case of character assassination I have ever seen. And my hope is that in the same way the Sussex Squad have been keeping receipts, Harry and Meghan's lawyers have been keeping receipts too, and they waged the biggest libel court case of all time against these people and bankrupt them all, because it's been a constant rain of lies from the moment Meghan stepped out with Harry. And then there is the king of clowns, Piss Moron, who thinks it's okay to attack others, but he can't handle 2 minutes of heat from a weatherman calling him out on his foolishness. As you remember, he was called out on his BS and decided to have a temper tantrum live on air and stormed out of the studio when somebody called him out for his constant attacks towards Meghan. Now, I do believe that he decided to leave on his own merit. I think the whole thing was staged to play into his me versus Meghan narrative that he has going on in his head, when I don't think Meghan even cares about his existence, even though his existence centers around her. I mean, what would he be now other than a ranting head on TV if it wasn't for this biracial black woman who he can't leave alone and who is keeping him relevant because he can't keep her off of his lips. Attacking women, especially women of colour, has become his bread and butter, and his equally mediocre followers who can't get enough of this eat it up. I do believe that Piss Moron has many skeletons in his closet. He's been associated with some pretty shady characters, so I do believe that he will have his time. Then we have the royal reporters, aka royal rodents. A number of them who were dutifully exposed by some pranksters. I'll put the link below if you haven't already watched that now infamous video of several of them, including Victoria Arbiter and her father, Dicky Donkey Sanctuary Arbiter. Those that know. Who gave opinions about the Oprah interview when they hadn't even seen it. Daddy Dicky obviously taught his daughter how to grift. Seems to be the family business. And while they haven't disappeared completely, I do think that the incident at least put a small dent in their reputations, and more people now know that they are just a bunch of liars. Then you have the other rodents of the royal rota who are a little higher up the food chain, the likes of Roy and Nika, Emily Andrews, Camilla Tamani, etc. And they will also have their time. Camilla especially, because she has broken the ultimate rule of journalism: don't make yourself the story. Word on the street is that Ronan Farrow has been lurking around Sussex Squad circles and could be working on a story about the British royals and the press. I honestly think it will take an American journalist to bring these people to justice, so watch that space. And then we move on to our good old friend Jason Kniff, who I think most people now know was really one of the pawns that was weaponized against Meghan, and I don't think we've seen the last of him yet in light of those so-called bullying allegations against Meghan. I think that he still is yet to have his day, but he will. There's more to that situation than I think even the Sussex Squad has been able to theorize. And then there are the legions of hater channels, hater podcasters, bloggers, some of whom were originally on Team Meghan, who later then joined the Meghan hate train. And with all of the new restrictions against bullying and hate speech, they could well find themselves with no income sooner or later. I know some of them have literally quit their jobs to join the hater train and are making so much money from it. But I do also think that eventually even the internet trolls will get bored. For how long can you keep an interest in such vitriol? It must be like a drug to them, because honey, that could not be me. There are a lot of celebrities who I dislike. I do not spend my time watching hater videos about them. I ignore them completely. So I don't understand these people. When I look at Harry and Meghan and I see what they're doing, I feel inspired. I feel activated to want to make a change in my life, in the world, and I have just found such a joyful community in the Sussex squad. I have made so many genuine friends and connections based on our mutual love of the Sussexes, and I don't see how you can form genuine connections with people based on your mutual hate of someone. So I don't know what goes on in their communities, because I don't spend too much time in the hater communities, but I can't imagine that is anything productive, because I haven't seen anyone from that side raising great amounts of money for charity, doing projects, or really just doing anything positive. So those were just a few of the devil's children who have tried to bring down Meghan, and there are others, but I'll be here all day naming them all, and there's certainly people who I just don't want to give any air, to be honest. But in conclusion, if you try to hurt Meghan, karma will eventually come knocking at your door. It's only a matter of time. I will stay adoring the Sussexes, being inspired by them, and through them, hopefully inspire you. Until next time, my darlings, I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!